This is the very first video on Tai Chi standing of the Tai Chi standing challenge. The Tai Chi standing is a usually overlooked practice, undervalued, underappreciated. Most internal styles have some sort of standing practice. Tai Chi always has a standing practice. The Huan Yin, the Wu Ji, Zhang, these are two names for the same thing. Sometimes it gets called embracing the tree. Everyone tends to know about it. Few people tend to practice it. In classes, it's difficult for teachers to teach it because once you get it started, there's so many other things that you want to cover in your class. You want to teach the routine, for example. Students on the flip side, exactly the same. They say, oh yeah, that's nice, but let's get on to the routine. Let's learn the routine. And as a result, the standing practice gets forgotten. However, if you want to get better at your Tai Chi, even if you're not interested in Tai Chi, but you want to have the legs become stronger, the back become stronger, the posture to become better, the mind to become more settled, then Tai Chi standing is an excellent way of doing this. You don't need a lot of space. You don't need any special equipment. You do need some shoes where the sole is flat. You do need to have your feet in good condition, no plantar fasciitis. If you have problems with knees, ankles, or hips that adjusts and throws your alignment, probably not a good idea to be doing this practice. It will just make those problems worse. But otherwise, this is a very useful practice. Today, what we want to do is go over all of the important alignment things. It's just standing. How much can there be? Apparently there's a lot. The basics of standing. Feet hip width or a little bit wider. Set the weight back over the heels. We set the weight down. We relax the low back, lengthen the spine up. From there, the hands come up shoulder height, elbows pointing down, palms facing in. Fingers separated, thumbs extended. Body is upright. That's the posture right there. However, there's lots of little finicky details that can help you or hinder you depending on whether you have been told them. So what I want to do is I want to explain those in a little more detail. First part is position of the weight in relation to the ankles, position of the hips. Right. Weight is something where we're used to having our weight a little bit forward on the balls of our feet. We want to set our weight back, more towards the heel. And we need to do that by adjusting this part of the body rather than this part of the body. I can put my weight over my heels this way, but the body isn't upright. If I set my weight back by moving my hips over the heels, then I have a better position. We have to relax the ankles, and then the tricky part is to relax the hips as we bend the knees, flexing the knees slightly. If the hip is not, if the hip is not relaxed, we will end up here. If we relax the hips, then the pelvis ends up in what I call a neutral position. The position of the knees stay back. So rather than having tension in the hips, which pushes the knees forward, we relax the hips, the knees drop back, and then we set the weight down, right here. How far down depends on your conditioning, right? It is something where, in terms of being able to relax the hips, it is something where you should be able to keep the heels on the ground and come down. If you are able to, you can, as a test, set your weight completely down, right? Body still stays relatively upright. The body, the low back stays relaxed. So instead of something where as soon as you set the weight back and down, instead of having the low back tense up, which will shift the weight of the body, you have to relax. It will shift the alignment of the pelvis. You have to have the body upright. Relax the low back. There's a slight engaging of the core muscles, but this is mainly just to help the low back relax and lift the torso. From there, arms come up. shoulders are set down. It's easy for something to happen where the shoulders become tense. You have to relax and lower the shoulders. The elbows are set so that instead of them pointing out to the side, there's an angle that sets them down. Right? Set the wrist so that the hands are rounded, palms facing in, and then instead of things where the wrist and the hand has to be aligned, fingers and palm curved, space between the fingers but relaxed, and extend the thumbs. Right? Lift the torso, tuck in the chin a little bit, and lift up through to the top of the head. So we're set there. That is the posture. That is the alignment. One thing I forgot to mention, press the toes against the ground. So this is not curling the toes. This is pressing the toes to stabilize the ankle. Stabilize the ankle, and then from there, with Chen style Tai Chi, there's a particular thing that happens where the hip is open and the legs are rotated in. Even if you're not doing Chen style Tai Chi, for the standing practice, this is very useful, very helpful and important. So instead of having the hips open, which turns the legs out, you keep the hips open, but then rotate the leg so that the knee points forward and the toes point forward. The hip is still open. If I do a wider stance, it ends up looking like this, right? But instead of it being like this, right, it's here. And when we have it in the standing posture, where our feet are about hip width apart, it's still that same structure. This helps relax the hip and set the weight back, right? So in terms of finding that alignment through the pelvis, this is very helpful. From there, lift the body, embrace the tree, set the posture. Getting into the posture is one typically, traditionally, stand, natural respiration. This posture, roll the hands out, bring the arms up. Relax the shoulders, lower the elbows. The hands come down to our sides. As the hands come down, lift the body up. Relax the low back. Relax the shoulders. Allow the hands to follow through. One more time. Open, lift up, gather in, set all the way down. And then set the posture. Relax the shoulders. Draw the breath in. And relax. Very good. An important thing when we're doing this, I encourage you to think about the standing posture as a conditioning exercise as opposed to thinking of it as a Qigong practice. There's a Qigong element to it, but the first part really is about getting the body conditioned, getting the mind conditioned, getting everything so that it's able to be settled and stable. Personally, I don't think that unless you can get comfortable with this for about 15 to 20 minutes of standing, there is very little benefit that you'll gain from adding in any breathing exercises or any focus on the qi. The body and the mind is simply just not settled enough for that to give you additional benefits. So the first part, and an extremely beneficial and valuable part, is simply looking at this as a conditioning thing. So the future videos, what we'll be doing is we'll be doing the standing for longer and longer periods of time. We'll start just with 3 minutes. We'll work our way up with each video. So I hope you enjoy this one. I look forward to doing the next one, part of the Tai Chi Standing Challenge, starting with 3 minutes in the next video. We'll see you then.